Welcome, everybody, to the 6th episode of That's Some Crazy Shit with Kelly and James. I am Kelly, and my co-host, as always, is James. What's going on, brother? What's happening?
What's up, my sister?
It has been another week, dude. It's
been 6 weeks.
You know what? This is episode 6. So that's crazy to me because I never thought we would be on episode 6. You know, it's really crazy. And this is some crazy shit because, for those who are listening to us, know that we are like amateurs. We're like amateur podcasters. This is like our first time at it. And I think we do okay. The crazy shit is that we've had people listen to us as far as Nigeria.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's cool, huh?
Hey. Is he a Nigerian prince?
I don't know. He didn't email me. I don't know if it's even a him, but someone in Nigeria, according to our podcast analytics, was in Nigeria, as was somebody in Ireland. So I just thought that's some crazy shit to me. We are worldwide.
International.
Can't talk to us now. Can't tell us shit, people. International. Haters will hate, but look at us.
They
right?
will too.
Here we go. So anyway, as always, thank you for listening. James will always tell us why we do the podcast. He likes our mission statement, our objective. For those of you who have never listened to us before, and for those of you who are back for more, James, tell him why we're doing this. Why do we do some crazy shit?
Well, our objective, is to kind of talk about a variety of topics, but not your everyday topics, okay? These are ones that intrigue us, and hopefully they'll intrigue our listeners, even the ones in our international listeners.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I know. Woohoo! So, we want to inspire people to kind of get interested in this stuff. And I also think that we want to provide a platform where some of these people can come forward and tell us and share their paranormal experiences without having to fear being ridiculed.
That's fair.
So,
there's a lot of crazy shit in the world. So, we have a lot of topics. We're not experts. We never claim to be. So what we thought we would do, instead of just hashing it out like we normally do, we've actually doing some research, bringing, written theory or whatever information that we can find, along with our valuable opinion, because it is valuable. And, we're talking about it. We want to keep it positive. We want to keep it open. And, we want the listeners, whoever you are, however many of you are, to participate with this as well. You can get to us on social media and, drum roll, please. Thank you. We are on YouTube. All right.
Right on.
So we have graduated. See, we started off with email. Now we're up to YouTube because we are bad ass. All right.
We are in the 20th century now.
We are. So the way that you can reach us, we are on Instagram at @that's_some crazy shit. We're on Facebook at K&J's Crazy Shit. We're on Twitter at That's Some Crazy Shit. And we have email, That's Some Crazy Shit Podcast @gmail.com. And now officially YouTube channel, That's Some Crazy Shit. Where YouTube, guess what, James? What? We have 5 YouTube subscribers. Woohoo!
Really? I'm not even one yet.
One of them's me. The other 4, I don't know. So you 4 people on YouTube, shout out to the 4 subscribers on YouTube. We love it. So Last week when we did all this, we actually had a contest. We told everybody to like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, and tag 3 friends, and that we would put you in a raffle for a prize. And so we did that. We actually had people participate in our little prize. And James, who won?
I hope I don't mess this name up. Sarah Nagrant.
Woohoo, Sarah.
Yep. Way to go, Sarah.
Sarah, so what will happen is either myself or James will get at you at whatever platform you use, Facebook or Instagram, and get you your prize. So congratulations. And at the end of the podcast, we'll have another question that we'll post on social media. If you like us, comment, like us, tag 3 friends, we'll put you in the raffle for the prize. We got prizes for the rest of the month since we're in our Halloween theme.
And real quickly, Kel, our first winner, Josie, received her prize and got in contact with me and said she really liked it.
Yeah, she got some of Chef Bella B's spices and I think a spice grinder. So that's cool. So just to keep you guys up on what's going on for the rest of the month. So today we are doing ghost and tarot cards, and James has a treat for us on his part, but I'll let him get into that. And next week we're doing urban legend and curses, which I think is going to be really good because there's some crazy shit on urban legends and curses.
There are,
right?
There are.
And then for Halloween, we're doing werewolves and magic rituals. But today, it is ghost and tarot cards. And so, as always, James is bringing you Cryptid Creatures. Cryptid Creatures is brought to you by Chef Bella B, LLC, offering personal and private chef services. She also has spices and sauces on her website. You can see her website at chefbellabkitchen.com. She's also on Instagram at Chef Bella B. And she is the sponsor of James's segment, Cryptid Creatures. I am now going to stop talking. James, buddy, it is all you.
Right on, Cal. So last week we kind of been floating it out there that we were going to have a guest. This person is a very special person for 2 very different reasons. We talked about her being able to see spirits, and so we wanted to have her come on and talk about that. And she's also my niece. So, woohoo! Shout out to the family. Real quickly, Rue, let me just go over what I found about ghosts, and then you can tell me how accurate this is, and we'll get into asking some questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's all right.
So wait, welcome, Rue. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
Say hello to all of our listeners. Say hello.
Hello, listeners.
So that they know that you're a real person and it's not like me and James, like making up voices and shit. This is real, people. This is real, okay?
It's real.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's a good point. All right, so going back, I did some research about when the first records of ghosts were and spirits. And remember we talked about witches last week? And so when I looked that up, a witch was actually used to summon a spirit. And so that was the first recorded story in the Bible, where we talked about it. Saul came back.
The story you told us last week.
Right. And so it was the same story, just from a different source. So I thought that was interesting. Okay. So that was the first record of ghosts, okay? Then you go on through history, and there's a lot of interesting hauntings of famous people. Abraham Lincoln is said. This is interesting because how they can transcend, I think, time and space. They see him sometimes in the White House, And he's also been seen in the state capitol, Springfield.
Okay.
And so, he's been seen there. His wife, when she was still alive, was actually visited by spirits. And
or so she said.
Or so she said. And, there's also stories of her doing seances and things like this. And so, you go through history and there's tons of stories. Ben Franklin was said to communicate with spirits or ghosts. And Rue, so I understand this. Is there a difference between a spirit and a ghost from your opinion and what you see? Or hold on, let me back up.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about what you see and what we're talking about. Can you see spirits?
So for me, spirits and ghosts, I would kind of think they're the same thing. I think more spirit is what you feel, kind of when you feel like, oh, there's something near me, whereas a ghost is the actual physical appearance. At least for me, that's how I would kind of...
All right.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, so James, let me ask you a question. So you've got the first record of somebody seeing a ghost, and maybe I should ask Rue this and not you, James. I don't know what research you did, but why are there ghosts and spirits? Did you find anything in your research, James?
Well, a lot of it can be tied to, let's say you die in an area. If you die in a home, or people die on battlefields and things like that, they leave that energy in that area, so they tend to, I don't know if is haunt the right word, Rue?
I don't know. I would just say be there.
Be there. So their energies or spirits, they stay in that area, and so I don't know. That's now I lost my train of thought. I was all, what was I saying?
Well, we were talking about ghosts and spirits, and your niece Rue is with us, and she's somebody who are you with me? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
all right then. So,
Rue. So wait, James. Wait, before you start, I just have a question. So, you said that you've got the first account of seeing them back in the Bible. There have been hauntings of famous people throughout history, I guess, right?
Okay. Sorry.
But okay, so Benjamin Franklin, you said communicated. Not that Benjamin Franklin's ghost was seen, that Benjamin Franklin communicated with spirits.
Yeah, when he was alive, and then so we went into the Mary Todd thing. Franklin has seen and spoken to spirits, they say, but then people also see his spirit. A lot of the founding fathers, they seem to have had, when I was doing the research, there was a site that just talked about the founding fathers and where they're haunted, or where they're located. I'll have to remember that. Like Washington at Valley Forge, big battle there. But he's also been seen in the White House. And I don't understand how they can. Well, that's where it's a time and space thing, I guess. Okay,
gotcha. So I would like to kind of turn to your guest, because I have a ton of questions for her. So James, but I don't want to take anything away from the research that you've done or anything. I'm just chomping at the bit over here.
No, and that's fine. It was just a real brief thing because we just wanted to go and get to the guest. The guest is the important thing. We can always talk about research later.
Great. So Rue, can you kind of tell us, you say that you see ghosts and spirits, and can you kind of just tell us how that began and that whole, give us the background, the foundation, how, why?
How old were you when you first saw them? Start from the beginning.
Well, I was actually really little, maybe a baby, but the first one I remember, I was probably about 14, maybe. One that I can actually remember, I seen my dad's grandma at the bottom of the stairs, clear as day, she was actually there, and described her, and my dad actually found a picture of her later on, and it was the exact thing I had seen.
Now, had you ever seen her before then? A picture of her?
No, I actually hadn't. No idea what she looked like or anything.
that's the first time that you can honestly remember, like remember seeing a ghost?
Yeah, I would say that vividly.
So you've been seeing ghosts since before you were 14, or you started seeing them at 14?
Probably before, but I don't remember. It's just that one was the one that actually.
That one was the first one you remember.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And so when you see the ghost, do they communicate with you?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes they'll talk to me, tell me something's going to happen before it happens, or they'll tell me something about somebody. Yeah, mostly.
Without giving any, like, I don't want to go into people's, details too much, but can you give us a general example of something they've told you that's come true?
So like if it's something about a person, it's usually like what they're feeling. Like, oh, that person's sad today because of this, or they're angry because of this, or they're going to react to what you said in this way, so that way I'm kind of prepared. It's mostly their emotions that they tell me about. Nothing too personal that I've come across yet.
Do you see the same ghost all the time, or do you see different ghosts? Like, do you have like a ghost that you've seen like all the time that kind of haunts you or follows you?
A recurring visitation?
Yeah, a recurring visitation.
Yeah, usually the ones in the house. Those are the ones I see most often. And sometimes they'll even wake me up in the middle of the night. They tell me, oh, wake up, the cat has to go out, or the cat wants to come in. So I'll open the door and the cat will be there.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you afraid?
No, I'm not.
At all?
No. At first, maybe a little bit, but I got used to it really fast, and it doesn't really creep me out. And it creeps me out not to hear them or not to see them more than it does to see them.
So they communicate with you and tell you like things are going to happen, but do they ever ask things of you? Do they ever ask you to communicate with their loved ones or anybody that they may have known while they were living?
No, that actually hasn't happened to me yet. And I wouldn't know how to handle it because I know some people are a little bit skeptical about it. So
yeah, that's why we're here.
For when that happens.
So I think it's fascinating. You see them all the time?
Yeah, I do.
Every day?
Yeah, I'll see them while I'm driving. I'll see them at work, here at home.
Do you tell people when you see them, or do you just keep it to yourself?
Depending on the person, because not a lot of people know that I can see them. So I'll tell like my mom or my brother, oh, there's someone there, or you just ran someone over, like
wow.
Don't see in the road.
Yeah, don't tell.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell.
That is crazy. So is it easy for you to tell the difference between a ghost and a live person? I mean, are these ghosts, do they come like dressed as they were, or are they apparitions? I don't know what a ghost looks like. Yeah, so to me, they come as like how you and I are. Like, I can see them clear as day, like a regular person would look, in clothes, things in like whatever clothes they had on for their. I mean, do you have ghosts that come back from like a whole different time, like different centuries, or are they? Do you know what I mean? Like, when did these people pass on? Do you know this? I don't know that. A lot of times if I do see them, I've seen a couple that look a little bit creepy. Like, they'll have like hollowed out black eyes. That's
freaky.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Something like that.
And there are black-eyed children we'll talk about too that are scary. Maybe are those the same things, Will?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen kids like that at work.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, have they ever tried to harm you?
I wouldn't say that. They more scared me. Like, when I was in high school, there was ones that used to like to go by the windows and like kind of spook me out, like, like jump scares in a scary movie. They would kind of do something like that. But I was always quick to just tell them to go away, or something like that. That way they didn't follow me home or cause me any grief. So they know that you can see them. Yeah.
How do they know? Do you know?
I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's like they make eye contact, and then all of a sudden it's just like I start feeling things. Like I can feel how the ghost or the spirit feels. So that's usually how I tell if it's a good one or a bad one, depending on the
You're
energy.
an empath. Is that how you say empath?
You're an empath.
Yes.
So, okay, I just have you've seen ghosts of people that you know, like you said you saw your dad's grandma?
Yeah, but she died
Dad's mom.
after I was
Dad's mom, grandma.
before I was born. I never met her.
Have you ever seen ghosts of people that you do know?
No, I haven't.
So these are people that you don't know.
Yeah, it's just random ones.
Just randoms.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've never seen anyone you've known, family or anything?
No, I haven't.
So, like, okay, let me ask you a question. Have you gone to a cemetery and see like multiple ghosts just like all over the place? Is it anything like that where they're just everywhere?
Not at a cemetery, but I really don't go to the cemetery too often because I would. But when
it's scary shit.
And it's a cemetery.
Yeah, when I have gone, it's more like I can feel them there, but not necessarily see them. So it's kind of different. I think they pick and choose when they want me to see them.
So, do you ever have you ever asked them to prove to somebody else in the room that they are there, like to move something or to knock something over or anything like that?
No, actually I haven't. I was trying to think.
Would you ever ask someone like that? Or a question like that? Would that offend them? Would they get pissed?
I don't think so. I mean, if someone really wanted proof that I could see what, I'm saying I see and I believe I see, then I would be more than willing just to be like, well, I can prove it to you. I don't think the ghost would get mad or anything like that.
Road trip, Cal.
So have you ever gone on any like ghost tours or anything like that and seen ghosts?
No, I've never done a ghost tour.
Never done a ghost tour?
No.
I've been on investigations.
Yeah, like James has done like investigations, and I've been to New Orleans and gone on the ghost tour, right? But you don't necessarily see ghosts. So I guess my other question was, do you ever ask them questions about where they are and what they experienced, or do you ever ask about what it's like to be passed on, like the other side? Like, where are they?
In a middle place or heaven?
Are they another dimension? Did you ever ask?
No, I've actually never thought about asking. That's a interesting thing. I've never thought about that myself. I just kind of see them, I'll say, I see you. Why are you here? And see if they kind of answer me back in that sense. But I've never thought of asking where they are or how they, where they're, what I mean? Like you just said.
Yeah, where they're at, what that means to pass over, I guess. And I mean, when you communicate, do they all talk back to you, or some of them just don't say anything?
Some of them don't say anything. I'll see them like really quick and then they'll disappear and then that's that. Other ones kind of linger around. I think it just kind of depends on the ghost and how much energy that they have with themselves. Do
you ever feel weak after you see one of them?
Sometimes I'll get tired because I think it's a little bit draining, especially like if I'm somewhere like at work where there's, more than one. Then I'll get a little.
Well, they're probably, using your energy to manifest,
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that they use your energy to actually manifest in front of you. Otherwise, you could just probably feel that they're there.
It could be that, or they could be taking energy from something else too.
And that's common. They talk about draining batteries, people feeling tired. They have to have energy from something.
So you see them in your house. would you say that your house is haunted?
No, because they're not here all the time. Some of the times they're more active than others, but mostly they just they come. It seems like they come and go.
Wow. Do you see any now?
No, not right now.
Do you see well that just freaks me out, because that would scare me, and just sound like you're really accustomed to it. Like you're at work, right? You're at work and you like see a ghost and you don't react because you're accustomed to seeing ghosts. Is that right? Is that accurate?
Sometimes I have a hard time telling the difference if it's a real person or not.
I was going to ask you, how do you tell the difference?
Pretty much how I feel when I see them. If it's kind of like a living person has a different feeling than a ghost would or a spirit would. You know, they have a different type of energy feel to them. But some of the time, like I said, when I can't tell, like I'll talk to them and then they'll like disappear out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, okay, they weren't really there.
Oh.
Like,
wow.
But
did you ever think that maybe you were like losing your mind? Did you ever like question like your sanity?
No, never, because it's kind of something that's common within the family. We're all kind of aware of that sort of thing, so it's not something that
is true. Our whole family, even way back from my grandma, they've always had an interest in things like the spirits and tarot cards.
It's always been a belief in your family, an accepted belief that there are ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And so you seeing ghosts isn't anything crazy or outrageous. It's just you see ghosts.
Yeah.
Huh. And Kelly, it's funny because you had asked me, how come you don't know all this stuff? How come you're not asking her all these questions? Well, just like you said, it's just, Drew can see ghosts. It's just one of those things, you don't ask someone every day, it's just strange.
I get, because I've never met anybody who says they can see ghosts, right? So my last question to you is, tell me like the most recent time that you saw a ghost.
Had to have been maybe the other night. I think it was I was coming home from work and I had closed and I was, driving my car, and I had felt like I had to drive around a little bit longer or whatever. And I was in the neighborhood, and for some reason I got the feeling to look in my rearview mirror, and I did. And then there was a ghost in my back seat. And so I was like, oh, okay, you're here, how are you? Whatever. And I kept driving, and I thought, well, I'll just turn around real quick and look. And they were still there. So I was like, okay, I'll just get home. And then I looked forward, and a cat had like ran across the street. And then I looked again, and they were gone.
Was it a male or a female?
It looked like a male, like the shape of a male. It was kind of dark in my car, so I couldn't see too much detail, but it was definitely a male.
Just sitting in the back seat of your car, didn't say anything.
No. And
you were not, the energy was not a scary energy that you got. It was okay.
Yeah, I was all right.
Wow. That would have freaked me out.
I could handle a lot of stuff, but I think I would have locked him up and jumped out.
That would have really freaked me out. Wow. I have never met anybody who can see ghosts, so I'm over here just fascinated. I don't have any more questions, but I don't know if I could handle it. I guess because I've never seen one. Maybe if I had seen one all my life, I'd be a little accepting. But that kind of freaks me out. It just kind of freaks me out a little bit. So,
it's funny because we talked about growing up. I saw my family have these visions and stuff, see people and stuff, and like I said, at one point they were all gone into different, tarot cards and numerology, and I think that's part of why I am the way I am now. No, not crazy. But
I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said crazy.
Did I? No, are you hearing things, James? I didn't say anything.
No, I'm just kidding. But we're really open minded to this stuff, and I think that's why I am the way I am now, because my family's so open minded.
That is really cool. Rue, are you willing to come back again and talk to us more about seeing ghosts and stuff?
Yeah, if you guys would like to have me on again, I'd definitely come.
I am just fascinated. I don't have any more questions. James, do you have any more questions?
No, I can always tease for next time. Yeah, I do have questions. Maybe I'll save them. How's that for a tease?
Yeah, and then we can have you come back. And because I would love to. Oh, my other thing is, like, do you ever use your gift to help people? Like, if somebody said, hey, I really want to reach my grandma, and they know that do you ever offer that, or that's not how you do it? It's just something that you just kind of keep to yourself and within the family?
I just keep it to myself, mostly because I don't know how someone would react. You always have those people that look at you like you're crazy, or something like that. So I just mostly keep it to myself.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here, Kelly. That's
right,
why
I'm saying, but you've never offered it as a service, or there are some people like I don't know, like the Long Island medium. That's the one who comes into mind.
Yeah.
Who says she can see ghosts and she'll go and help people and that type of thing. That is something that you do not do. That's what I'm asking. I guess that's the question I'm asking. Is that something that you would ever do?
Maybe in the future, if once I get more comfortable with it and how to approach it, maybe I would love to do that, but for now I don't.
Right. I understand. It's a lot. And I don't know if she's 100% legit. I think I read something that said maybe she wasn't. I don't know, but I just always wondered if that is something that you would do. There was a movie too with Matt Damon. He could see ghosts, but he didn't want to do it publicly, right? So that's why I ask if that would ever be something that you do, because it is a gift. It's definitely a gift.
Yeah,
right.
And remember, not everyone has the gift. A lot of people claim to, but not everyone does.
That is very, very true. Thank you so much for coming on as our guest and joining us.
Well, thank you.
James,
yeah,
anything
thank
else?
you, Rue.
Rue, we will definitely
Rue,
have you
did you
back
want
in
to
the
stick
future.
around?
Did you want to stick around?
I have to actually get ready for work. I have to cover a shift, so.
Well, thanks for coming on, Rue.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Thank you.
See you guys later.
Bye. That is some cool shit, James. That is some crazy shit, okay? That is crazy to me.
And it's funny because like she says, I don't know, we just don't run around telling people. I think family and family or friends of the family, kind of know, but it's like you really don't run around telling people.
Right. Well, we are shifting gears and moving on to my stuff, which is brought to you by Bright-Headed Publishing, LLC. Bright-Headed Publishing is a small publishing company. Their goal is to help others reach their dream of being a published author. They also wanted me to let you know they're starting their own podcast soon, as they're going to enter into the world of audiobooks. Their website is www.bright-headedpublishing.com. They're on Instagram at BHPLCC, Bright-Headed Publishing LCC, and they're at Facebook at Bright-Headed Publishing LLC. All right, so my stuff that I wanted to talk about that I thought was kind of crazy shit is tarot cards. And the funny thing about tarot cards, I think everybody's heard of tarot cards, right? You've seen tarot cards. These are the cards that they use to tell your future. You can go pay a tarot card reader anywhere from $30 and up to sit down and tell your future and read your cards, right? It's really kind of interesting. Fortune telling, the psychic industry, James, it is a real industry, and it is a $2 billion a year industry, and it has been growing steadily since 2005. Which I thought
$2 billion is a lot of money.
$2 billion. It's a $2 billion, and that's fortune telling. That's what they call fortune telling and psychic reading industry. And that could be palmistry, astrology, mediumship, numerology, tarot card reading, your aura, animal communicators. All of these things fall under that umbrella, but we're going to stick with tarot cards.
Okay, real quick. I knew a kid, and you grew up with them, so you knew him too. I don't know if you knew this about his mom, but she used to read auras.
Really?
And I remember we'd go over there, we'd go playing or whatever, and she'd tell, what are you guys going to do tonight? Oh, we're going to go to this. I don't think you should. And we're like, all right then. She'd change the plan.
She could see auras, huh? She knew when you guys were lying. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was what it was. That's why I was like, change the plans. We're going to not
That's
do that.
Crazy. So most people, when I started doing research on tarot cards, and the funny thing about tarot cards, I actually have a deck of tarot cards. I've had these tarot cards since high school, actually. I've just always kept them. I don't read cards, but I have a set of tarot cards. Tarot card reading goes back to the 14th century, maybe even further. But believe it or not, it was a card game. It wasn't even about telling your fortune. It was a card game. And so back in Italy, it was a game, and they used it to they played a game called Tarucci. And what would happen is the players were dealt random cards, and whatever was on the card, they would make up poetic verses about one another based on the card. So it was a game.
Hey, that sounds like a cool game, though.
Yeah, it was a game. So, and they were not made for telling fortunes. Now, in France, if you were wealthy, you could find somebody to commission a set of tarot cards for you, meaning they would paint all the cards by hand, and those would be the cards that your family would use, and that was a sign of wealth if you could actually commission a pair of cards. They were very expensive, and so they were used for card games, not even fortune telling. So when did tarot cards start telling your fortune? Well, there was a guy in France named Jean-Baptiste Eliot. It's kind of good, huh?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. He wrote the first book of the tarot in 1791, and he called it The Art of Reading Cards. Now, obviously, the French version looked much better and probably sounds better than The Art of Reading Cards, but the translation, which is what I'm sticking with, is The Art of Reading Cards.
Yeah, but everything sounds better like in French,
And so he created a pseudonym by spelling his name backwards from Eliot to Etiela, right? And so that was his surname. And so he wrote under that surname. And he wrote about the cards being used for the purpose of telling your future. And he said that he got this information from Egypt, right? And he was able to get this information and learn how to, in fact, tell the future. He is also the one that started using the tarot cards specifically for the occult around 1789. So, it's kind of funny how they went from playing cards to now this one guy in France said, you know what? I'm going to make a card known as a significator, which is the person that's going to get their cards read, and that stands for the person getting their card read. And he was the one that officially first used the cards for fortune telling or for the occult, right? So, the traditional way of getting your cards read is what they call a Celtic cross. It's a 10 card spread. And they say that the person who's getting their cards read shuffles their energy into the cards, asking a question, and then laying them out in this spread. And this spread will present you with the energy of that person. Now, tarot cards are not supposed to be an end-all be-all, because it is said that you can change your future, right? Nothing is set in stone. You can change what happens to you. Kind of funny, though, James, when I was reading about the cards, is they became popular in France in the 1880s. And at that time, we were talking about this, that was the time that part of the country, of the world, was getting heavily into the occult. Right? So it was kind of interesting. And then there was a guy in 1886 called Arthur Edward Waite, and he published a book called The Mysteries of Magic. And he came out with his own deck of cards in 1886. And he was also a member of the Golden Dawn, the Order of the Golden Dawn, in 1888. And they were established that the occult tarot became established in the English-speaking world. So it was big in France, but this other group in 1888, the Order of the Golden Dawn, really brought it to the English-speaking world.
So the Golden Dawn, does that have anything to do with the Godfather?
The Godfather? You lost me.
Get it, Dawn? Godfather?
Oh, okay.
You're a Godfather fan. Sorry,
I know, but I'm thinking Dawn, D-A-W-N. No, but the Order of the Golden Dawn is still around today, right?
What are they, like the Freemasons? Some kind of...
Kinda. They're like, I didn't really do a lot of research on them, but they're an organization that, believes in the occult and the tarot, right? Yeah. But there's no see, the funny thing is that a lot of times when people think of tarot cards, they think of gypsies or even ancient Egypt, but there's no evidence that the cards were ever used by gypsies, nor is there any evidence that the cards originated in ancient Egypt. The idea of the Egyptian connection was popularized in France by that guy, Jean-Baptiste Elliot, in 1781. So
it's very possible he just made this stuff up, or he tapped into the Akashic record.
Maybe, but see, the idea was also picked up by authors who wrote for the Golden Dawn, about the connection to ancient Egypt, despite there being no evidence. So a lot of people, that's where the connection comes with ancient Egypt, was this guy in France, but there's no connection of Egyptians using tarot cards.
No written.
Right? No written record. I looked. And then in the 1920s to the 1950s, there were a lot of authors that wrote articles about the tarot being forbidden and that it being motifs for like gypsies and black cats and everything evil. So from 1920 to 1950, the tarot card was kind of that hidden taboo, right? And that's where it kind of got the analogy of it being like gypsies and evil and black cats and all that other stuff, right? But believe it or not, the tarot card today still is an ordinary card game, and that it also is the occult ritual of laying out the cards, right? So you don't have to be psychic to read tarot cards. Tarot cards don't actually tell your future. From everything that I read, tarot cards don't tell your future. They give you an idea of how you should proceed in a certain situation based on your energy and your intuition. But they do not tell your future.
And what's funny? Just quickly, where I'm thinking about this. In the past, and when I've had readings, there is a difference. There are people who tell you, okay, well, James, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and then it really never does. And then when you see these other readers, like Dave, the one we went to, who really didn't do so much of that, but he nailed the past.
But he picked up on the quote unquote energy.
Right.
I found out some interesting stuff about the tarot card. If you want to learn how to read tarot cards, there are books, there are courses. You can even become a certified tarot card reader. And there are there's 3 levels. There's a CTR, which is a certified tarot card reader. There's a certified tarot card professional, which is a CTP, and there's a certified tarot master, a CTM. And then there is a certified tarot grandmaster, a CTGM. So you can even become a master at reading tarot cards. And another thing about tarot cards, it's not regulated. You can get an online reading. You can get a telephone reading. You can get an in-person reading. And people are charging anywhere between $30 to, I don't know, I've seen as much as $120 for an hour of tarot cards. And I'm not knocking tarot cards. I'm not saying that there's not something to tarot cards. I'm saying that there's a lot of different avenues for you to get a tarot card reading. I've seen the free online stuff. There's all types of stuff that, how to get readings. So when I was doing my research on the tarot cards, there's another theory of how tarot cards came into being. Now, I don't know if we'd ever talked about this. I think we talked about this on our very first show when we talked about channeling, right? Remember? So back in the 80s, between 1981 and 1984, a group of people channeled the Law of One book. And these are channeled sessions by an entity named Ra. And Ra is a group entity local to our solar system, but from a higher dimension that communicated extensively with ancient Egypt to assist in their spiritual growth. So these 3 people say that they channeled this being named Ra. It was a guy named James Allen McCarthy. James Allen McCarthy, I believe, took the notes. Don Elkins asked the questions, and Carla Record was the channel. The reason why I bring this up, because as they were channeling Ra actually said that the tarot, this entity talked about the tarot and said that the tarot was to help the 7 categories of the mind, body, and spirit. So the cards were actually should be used for spiritual growth, and that's maybe where they got the connection to Egypt, because Ra, this channeled entity, does bring up the tarot cards, or the tarot, and how it came into being, and it's a long. I mean, if you ever want to go check out the Law Book of One and the history of Ra, you can do that. I'm not going to do that now, but I'm just saying that this entity talks about the tarot card and how they came into being, which is another theory than what I just told you. And so I thought that was kind of interesting.
I might look into that.
Right? Yeah, so I thought that was just kind of interesting how that came into being. Now, the funny thing is that, which I thought was really interesting, is that anybody can read tarot cards, right? You don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to, be whatever. You just have to believe that they will work. And the tarot cards, they say that you are using your intuition. And the tarot cards aren't making predictions about your future. They're relying on your energy and your intuition and your inner wisdom, and the cards and the pictures of the cards, that imagery gives you instant access to your subconscious mind and your intuition. And from this place of inner power and wisdom, you can discover how to make positive changes and now manifest your goals and your dreams by using the tarot. That is ultimately what the tarot cards really are. They're not a yes or no, am I going to be rich and famous? And, the cards say yes or no. That's not how they work. Although that's how they've been presented. So I just thought it was interesting. I just wanted to touch on the tarot. Funny, there's not anything scary or spooky or evil or mystical or anything about the tarot cards. Although
I have to just. There is a little mysticism.
Well, there's a little mysticism, but I'm saying about how they came into being. How they, because a lot of people don't know where tarot cards came from.
Isn't that a little mysterious?
That is, but I just told you where they came from. No, didn't I? So, mystery. There is a little mystery. So, James, I thought we would just go into random bullshit.
All right, what you got?
So, in keeping with the Halloween theme, and the question I asked last week was, what scared you? And you said my dad.
Yeah.
So now you got to stay Halloweeny with me. So, what was your best Halloween costume? Either as an adult or a child, either one, your best Halloween costume.
Ooh, my best Halloween costume.
Best Halloween costume. The one that you thought was just the shit. This is the best Halloween costume ever.
Okay, now remember, we grew up poor, Cal. So a lot of the costumes we made we made our costumes. So I thought,
nothing. Also, but one of them had to be like the best.
The best. Well, I don't know. I thought I had a couple of cool ones. I had my mom had sewed like this white. Well, it was just an old sheet we had, but she made it look like a hood, and then she had sewed a mask into it. So I was like this specter. That was kind of cool.
Okay.
And then when I got older, I dressed up like a genie, and I had gone and rented that costume. I got that picture. I'll send you that picture.
Yeah, you have to, because like the genie with like the pointed genie shoes.
Oh yeah, man!
I had everything.
Like this purple sash. And I had a turban.
Did you go to a party?
No, I was just walking in the parking lot. Yeah, I went to a party.
I mean, I'm saying because you were like high school. Is this high school?
Oh no,
genie?
no.
This is the adult.
I was an adult then. Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, my best Halloween costume ever that I did was maybe about 5 years ago at work, and I dressed up like a Spartan warrior, and I had the full-on helmet.
That was a good one. I remember that.
I had the Spartan gear on. I had the Roman sandals. I had a shield and a sword. That was like my best Halloween costume ever.
Well, I have a question for you now. Maybe I remember this incorrectly, but didn't you dress up like Don King once? I thought that was your best.
I also dressed up like Foxy Brown from Austin Powers as well.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
I did dress up like Don King once, but I used to like to take my two sons who are close in age and make them do duo costumes when they would still let me. So I had dressed them up one year as SpongeBob and Patrick. Right?
Oh, you're messed up.
The next year I dressed them up as Yoda and Darth Vader.
Well, that would have been a good one.
And then the last time they let me do it, I dressed them up as Batman and Robin.
Oh, so that would have been a good one.
So those were some cool costumes. I thought they were cool. I like superhero costumes, which brings me to my next thing on random bullshit. Can I just shout out Amazon and The Boys? That is some crazy shit. I'm sorry, James. I just don't believe this is a show you don't watch. But if you have never seen The Boys,
and I told you about it.
Yes, can I just shout out that this is some crazy shit on Amazon? I think every episode I'm like, what the beep 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 beep?
You could say hell, Kel. We say crazy shit and all.
What the hell? Oh, that's not what I was gonna say. But I mean, it's some.
Well, you
crazy
could say
shit.
it. You could say
just
it.
Shout it out. The Boys is some crazy shit, and James, I'm sorry. I just can't believe you're not watching this. I'm shocked. You told me to watch it.
I know. And the comic book is real crazy. The first series that came out, yeah, that was real crazy.
These superheroes are the worst people on Earth.
Yeah, give a real quick summary, Kev. People don't know what it is.
So The Boys is a series on Amazon, and it's based off a comic book, and it's got the incredibly talented, just sexy ass Karl Urban. Oh my God, this man is just beautiful. Okay,
well,
and plus
he is bad. I won't go.
He is bad. He's got it. Plus, he's got this really new. It's a New Zealand accent, but he's got this accent, and he calls everybody a cunt throughout the entire show.
Oh, that's your favorite word.
But no, actually, it's not. He uses it like nothing.
I'm being sarcastic.
He uses it a lot, but he is determined to, like, the world is where superheroes are common. We have a superhero agency now that protects us, and his team is making sure that these superheroes keep in check because they are some awful people. It has been 2 seasons of The Boys. I cannot wait for season 3. It is on Amazon. I'm not getting paid for shouting them out. I just think it's some crazy shit.
Right on.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me. So, next week, James, are you ready? You know what you're doing next week? We got Urban Legends.
And Karl Urban?
Yeah. We hope. Woo,
Karl Urban Legends.
Karl Urban Legends and Curses. That's funny. Don't forget, look us up on social media. Comment. We're gonna put it out there. We'll have a post on Instagram. We'll have a post on Facebook. What was your best Halloween costume? It can either be as a child or an adult, doesn't matter. But if you comment, like us, and tag 3 friends, we will throw you in the raffle, and you will get a prize just like, what was her name, James?
Sarah Nagrin.
Just like Sarah. And you can win a prize as well. I mean, it's really easy. It's not hard to do, people. Otherwise, James, brother, it's always a pleasure as always.
It's always a pleasure as always.
As always. Once again, thank you everybody for listening. You have been listening to That's Some Crazy Shit. I am Kelly.
I'm James. Keep your mind open, people.
Wait. I know that you had a tagline that you wanted to use at the end, and I don't want to overtalk it, so let's try that again. Thank you, everybody, for listening to That's Some Crazy Shit. I'm Kelly.
I'm James, and keep your minds open.
Ooh. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Later.